Hi, welcome to Restrocast. Today my guest is Ziad Kassabieh. He's the CEO of Advanced Food Company. Ziad's journey is a beautiful one, from Lebanon to Saudi Arabia, from working at the bottom of the restaurant to developing 45 plus concepts over the last 19 years. His journey talked a lot about what attention to detail can bring to life. Today, he's running a lot of successful concepts in Saudi Arabia, which I believe can only happen when you're really obsessed about what you do. Ziad calls it passion. I will still call it obsession. I think this conversation is enriching for all the hospitality professionals, because Ziad is somebody who I found his feet were on the ground, who understands what servant leadership is all about, who understands what it means to listen to the bottom while keeping your vision high. I enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure you will. Welcome to Restrocast. Ziad, welcome to Restrocast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. Advanced Food Company is what you run today.
Yeah.
But before we go into what is happening today and what are your plans in future, I want to take you down the memory lane. I want to know where it all started for you.
Where I started. Eventually, I'm in Saudi Arabia for the past 19 years. I started my career at the age of 15. I used to work during summertime in a restaurant for a family. I started in the kitchen, and this is where I discovered my passion in this industry. So 15, 16, 17, I was working during summer.
Here?
In Lebanon.
In Lebanon.
Yeah. This is where I started my career. After that, I decided to study the hospitality management and then to take my master's from Lebanon. And the journey started. I was from the team opening of Finisa. We worked for a few months as an internship. And after that, the first job for me, because when you want to start in the hospitality, especially in hotels, you have to start from scratch. No one can start as a managerial position. And during that time, I couldn't find something that, when we were young, we want to become directly managers. And this is wrong. So my first job was as an operator to answer the calls and take reservations. And then after that, I got many promotion where I reached, after 1 year and a half, front office supervisor, night auditor. And during my job as a night auditor, our shift was from 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. So eventually we work when the people sleep. And in the morning, when I finish my shift and going to the university, you see all the people, all the kids going to schools, people are going to work. I'm going to have a sleep for 2-3 hours and then to go back to my university, where basically I used to sleep during of some classes. Until one day...
This was also back in Lebanon.
Yeah. I'm still in Lebanon. Then one day, one of my teacher, he woke me up. He told me, Ziad, it's not possible to sleep every time in my classes. And during that time, we also had this ego that we have experience. We want to have the fast success, the fast promotion. During that time, I was calling this as a passion. But eventually... with the time, I discovered that this was the healthiest way because after all of these years, this is where I am now. So I told him, he asked me, Ziad, what is your dream? What do you want to be? I told him, I want to become a general manager for a hotel. So he told me, if you're going to continue like this, you will never be a GM for a hotel. I told him, why? I have 1 year and a half, 2 years of experience, and I'm on the right track. He told me during that time, if you will continue with the room division business, which is, it's everything related to reservation, housekeeping, laundry, reception, all of this related to hotels, you will not be able to reach it because you don't have any experience in food and beverage. During that time, from wearing suit, having around $1,200 salary during that time because I was independent, I decided to go back again and start from scratch with $300 as a commie or runner. And I worked in Lebanon during my era for 4 or 5 years, and then I came to Saudi Arabia. And with the 18, 19 years, I was able to open more than 45, 48 restaurants. And I continued in the food and beverage. And now this is where I am.
In last 19 years, you have opened 45 to 48 restaurants?
Yes, in Saudi Arabia. It was in different companies. We started...
There is a lot that I would want to dive in. But, let me just go back to Lebanon days. Yeah. When you're talking about going back to being the commie in the kitchen and the fact that you eventually just continued with the restaurant business, what happened to the dream of being the GM of a hotel?
I found my passion more maybe, and maybe the opportunities who was available during that time for me, that the people working in the food and beverage in hotels are totally different than the operator who are working in the nightlife, the restaurants, cafe. It's a different scenario. The food and beverage in our industry, not in a hotel, okay, is very tough, very challenging. You have to, there is a lot of specs that you should be taken into consideration, because in the hotel, you have this venue, you will decide, okay, Italian restaurant, Lebanese restaurant, Indian restaurant, Mediterranean, and that's it. But in the restaurant sector, it's different. You should find the right location for your brand. You should start working on the concept development. What does it mean? Concept development is that you have to work on, you should understand what do you want to provide in order to start doing the drawings, the 3Ds for the concept, and at the same time to work on the branding and the name selection. And based on that, you have to go an extra mile later on with developing a proper menu, having a proper pricing, and to reach a successful story. But in the hotels are much easier. You get the staff, you work on the menu, you do food cost, you put your margin, and that's it. And the rest is the role of the sales and marketing to let these venues work. It's not the job of the GM of the restaurants or the chef or the people. No, in our business, everyone is involved. We work all in all. In the hotel, it's like, I respect this a lot. No? But it's a different school. It's like it's the army, and it's something like business oriented. It's different.
What bothers me at times is that 70% of the jobs in the hospitality industry are in the restaurants.
No.
But the course is still called hotel management. Why is industry not waking up and making it a restaurant management as a degree?
Okay. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to be very transparent. If you start as a commie in any hotel, restaurant, and if you were able to prove yourself, maybe you will have a chance, maybe not, to become maybe an outlet manager, later on an assistant food and beverage manager, F&B manager, director, maybe. But the chances in the restaurants are higher because the investors of the restaurants are higher than the hotels. You open 100 restaurants, you open 10 hotels. So the percentage are different. That's why you see the people who works for the food and beverage are the high turnover, or the majority are working in the restaurant business because the opportunities are bigger there.
Correct. But then why does academic education... See, you just basically said that hotels are a different play.
Yeah.
And to build restaurants or to work in the restaurant is a very, very different game.
Yeah.
But then people who are coming from education institutions are all coming from hotel management. Nobody is coming from restaurant management.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying.
Because until now, I've heard that there is a program with Les Roches. It's related to food and beverage. But during our time, and I believe during this time now, there is something called hotel management, hospitality management, or if you want to have an executive MBA, which is I'm planning to do, a global hospitality management. So it's related only to this curriculum. That's why.
Yeah, Les Roches, I know, does a F&B management.
Yeah.
I think.
And Glion, of course. There's a lot of high-end schools globally. But this is where you have. And sometimes you will see it and you will be surprised that I know also success story from few people who are GMs for hotels now, or maybe CEOs for food and beverage companies, that maybe their major was maybe economics or finance, or one of them is IT. But he studied the IT. He didn't find the passion in this industry. He discovered that he likes the restaurant, but he was graduated during that time in IT, and he continued his career. And of course, it's important to have, of course, your bachelor or your master, especially nowadays. But what's important also is to keep on developing yourself. The school or the university will give you the know-how for 3 years, 4 years in the BA, 2 years in the masters, and that's it. But this is not enough. We have to keep always on doing research where the market is standing. Now with the social media, you have a huge potential to do research in all the countries, especially when you have a new idea. Maybe you will be inspired with one of the dishes, you will develop it in your way. Also, reading books also is very important. I've read a lot of books, and one of my favorite was The Story of Starbucks with Howard Schultz. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read it. For me, it's one of the best books for a company who used to lose money for years, and look now where Starbucks is. It's a very big achievement.
No, I think Starbucks is the Apple of F&B industry or the restaurant industry. They're
absolutely.
They're absolutely amazing. And I think for me personally, Starbucks, one thing that really stands out for me with respect to Starbucks is that, while there's a lot of chatter about consistency and, copy pasting your model, keeping it extremely scalable, which is true for McDonald's, which is true for Subway and so on. In case of Starbucks, actually no two Starbucks stores look same.
Yeah.
Every Starbucks looks different, as in, their architecture.
The
atmosphere, architecture. In fact, in many countries, you will find their outlook, their architecture absolutely different. And that really surprises me. And then I, digged a little deeper, and turns out that as per the guidelines, Starbucks does not enforce having the same architecture everywhere. In fact, that is a piece that they allow, that bases the space that is being designed.
Of course.
They are allowed to do that, which is really mind-boggling for me, because they have been able to replicate this without, spoiling the Starbucks experience across the world.
Of course, and especially they only need you have to, as a franchisee, they will tell you, the franchisor will tell you that at least, but for one thing you have to take into consideration. Yes, maybe I agree with you about the decoration, the atmosphere. They don't push the franchisee on this one, but they push him on the size of the round tables. If you see in Starbucks, worldwide, in any Starbucks, there's no square tables. All of them are round.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. And why is that?
They made a lot of studies psychologically on the people who wants to come to sit alone, who has issues or has problem, who wants to be with someone, is sitting, the atmosphere. They have their own philosophy with this, and I believe it's working.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna notice this now. So Ziad, now back to your study. What got you here? how come you landed in Saudi Arabia from Lebanon?
Okay. Lebanon is the one used to be, and now he is. I wish one day he will be stronger than before. But Lebanon is the destination for tourism for all the. He's on the roadmap for all the GCC countries, for the Middle Eastern countries. So I was lucky to start my career with strong people where I've learned a lot about them. But after the issues that started in Lebanon in 2005, I felt that maybe I have to explore my opportunities outside Lebanon, because I was still young during that time. And I was planning to have a career and to do something big, of course, to have a family. And I felt during that time, unfortunately, Lebanon was not the right option for me, so I had to leave. Yeah. So I forgot to tell you also, that before coming to Saudi Arabia, I went to Alien House Hotel in Nigeria, Lagos, Ikoyi. I went there as an operations manager. I was young, but I couldn't stay more than 45 days. Nigeria during that time was very dangerous for me. And I decided to go back to Lebanon. And then I got the opportunity to come to Saudi Arabia. And I started my career in Saudi basically by end of 2005.
And what was your first assignment here?
The first position? I came as a multi-unit manager. And then with the time...
For what kind of restaurant?
We built a Saudi concept during that time called Tiana. Tiana, it's in Arabic we call it like our tea, Shahina, all right? So during that time, I was from the team of the development where we built, and the core of the business was a tea shop, okay? And we used to have 99 different types of teas, divided into different categories. We used to have the green tea, we used to have the black tea, we used to have the white tea, and the herbals. And of course, we made a proper menu where we discussed about and we selected the type of food that is matching with this concept, and we were able to have a success story. And we did opening in maybe around less than 2 years. We opened more than 4 outlets in Jeddah.
And you were the manager for this multi-unit chain?
No, I was from the team. I was a multi-unit manager, but I was reporting during that time to the operations manager.
Got it. Then what happened?
I had an opportunity after that time to move into Iraqi Group. It's a new company that I moved on after Tiana, where I was able to develop many brands for them during that time. And mainly they were in the coffee lounges, chocolate lounge. We bought during that time Choconat Lounge from Italy, and we opened the biggest shop in Tahliya during that time, maybe 2007, 2008. I don't recall the years exactly, and the space was around 1,300 square meters. I continued with them, and we opened several
1,300 square meter.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was huge, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And this was what kind of concept was this?
It was the chocolate lounge, the thick chocolate. It's not the hot chocolate, the smooth one. No, it's the real hot chocolate. And we made this concept with the franchisor during that time, because we were having 3 floors. On the ground floor, we built the retail where you can come and taste and select the quality of chocolate, because during that time there is a level of cacao that you want, because some people prefer the dark chocolate, 90%, 70%, 60%, all of this. On the second one, we used to have the restaurant, which there were Italian restaurant during that time, and the last one was like for coffee, it was a lounge during that time with the shisha.
So, Ziad, where did you get this understanding of building a concept? What it took for you to take up such a job and then deliver on it? Like what kind of learning you had to go through?
I faced a lot of challenges, but I teach myself to not fail. For example, for someone who didn't study engineering, I know how to read now electrical map, I know how to read drawings. We don't get this in the universities, we get this in life, okay? So with the time, every time you open a restaurant, you learn something. Until now, after this years of experience, we're talking around 24 years of experience, I'm still learning. We have to stay humble. Ego should be away. We should listen to people. Sometimes one of your colleague, one of your staff will give you a remark from his point of view. You have to listen. We listen. I listen personally. And this is our philosophy in the company. And we work as a colleague, yet family. And I have an open door policy as a CEO. So I can know everything and I can help always and support. No need to have this distance between the staff. So going back to the question, you learn every time you open a restaurant, you learn something. And during that time, and I believe when you put a dedicated time for 15, 16, 17 hours, and during that time I was going back home 11 midnight, sleep for 6-7 hours, then go back again. Then you go to the contractor, you see what are you doing here, why are you doing this? You ask a lot of questions, and if you have a proper people, and I was lucky to have a good people that used to work with me during that time, I took this experience, and later on, my experience was required to open more and more and more, because during that time, thank God, I had a success story, and I'm keeping until now, of course.
But building concepts is tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough because it's not really only about concept being good or bad. It's about audience accepting the concept as you expected it to be. And that's why so many people end up bringing existing concepts to the land instead of building, your own.
Okay.
How many concepts, how was the failure for you?
It depends. We had a lot of success story, and of course, we had some failures at a certain level. But if you ask me now, after all of this experience, that before you're doing everything, you have to control your capex or your investment. You have to put a proper budget, and you have to take your time. If you put 2 million, if you exceed it 2 million by 50,000, 100,000, acceptable. More than that is not acceptable. Second, which is the number one also for me, is the location. Having a successful brand, having a good quality of food, having a good service and the wrong location, it's a failure. What is the challenges that we used to face during that time, at the beginning, and we're still fresh with this experience, that we didn't know during that time what is the top location and who can identify this is the perfect location for this concept, whether this is the other one. All right? But when we did a lot of focus group, we invited a lot of people, different nationalities, locals. We prepared plenty of questions. If you want to go to this place, which area you prefer? Why? Accessibility. During that time, when you understand the country very well, and when you understand the geography of the country very well, you will be able, you will say that I want to do a healthy concept basically in this one. And of course, if you select X location, you have to study this location very well. Is there any concept that is similar? What is the average check? What is this? What is that? You have this to do your market study based on that. So those are the main elements that, and of course, if you hire staff without plans, when you don't put a specific salary scale, if you keep it like this, it's a failure. If you don't have a strong procurement.
But these are, I think these are business failures. I understand what you're saying, and it's very, very important, and I would love to, circle back on that. But I'm asking that, did you have a concept failure where concept was executed well, or you thought it was executed well, but audience either failed to understand it, or you were too early, or like what you guys built were too ahead of its time. At times concepts fail, and I see concepts. I mean, whenever somebody talks about concepts, developing new concepts, especially not from the home market, I always wonder that what happens when you are ahead of time, or when you are too authentic for audience's taste buds.
Okay.
Have you faced any of that?
Yes. Maybe if you're gonna go back, maybe 2008, I did consultancy for a client, and it's not a consultancy. It was a support for him, and he wants to open a coffee shop during that time in Mecca. We decided to open a coffee concept in Mecca during that time, and Mecca was not ready at this stage. So I asked him to consider Jeddah during this time, but he insists on this one. Especially, he was like a guy that he wants to open a coffee shop because he believes that this will work. And I guarantee this one for him. I told him, listen, I don't see anything special in this one, not even the beans, not even the sweet.
You were consulting for him?
Yes. Okay. And he was a friend, and he's still a friend. Then I told him, listen, man, we should not do this. He told me, I know Mecca better than you. I know what the people want. Then I told him, okay, I will help you, whatever you want. You have my experience. Then I helped him. But unfortunately, he closed the restaurant, the coffee shop during that time, after 1 year and a half, 1 year, 4 months, something like that. And of course, I feel sorry about him. But what I've learned also from this experience is that if I see that something I don't believe in, I will say my mind. I will tell him, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with this because I see this as a failure. Because I should not be a diplomatic person with an investor or for someone who's asking me my opinion. At least when he's asking me for my consultancy or my opinion, we should be very transparent, and I should be very obvious with him. And I cannot say that I will tell him what are my concerns and it's his decision to take it. No, if I don't believe in something, so I should not do it. Now, after this years, I become stronger to say no, I will not do it.
Ziad, so today you're doing advanced food company.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Advanced Food Company was established 2017. I started with me and one T-boy, to be honest with you.
Sorry?
And T-boy. He's still working with us until now. And we started with Harat. Harat, it's a Lebanese cuisine. Was opened in 2018. During this period, I was planning and I was working on a concept that the atmosphere, the quality of food, the variety of the food, and the prices, and the details, everything to be available in one umbrella. How? During that time, I didn't know. So gradually, I work with a designer. We work on a concept. And he told me, what do you see in this shop? What do you wanna? What was your message? I told him, I wanna do something. It's like I'm sitting in the street. I want to look at the buildings, see the people are putting their laundry, the cleaning material. Yeah, something nostalgic, old one. I'm not talking about new towers, new advanced. No, we're talking about nostalgic things. So Harat is like Hara. Hara, it's like it's where you're sitting in a souk or a market, and you have the guy who's doing laundry, barber, supermarket. It's in a small street. And why we selected this cuisine? Because our food, the Lebanese cuisine, half of it is street food, but we put it in a different way and we present it in a different way, in the way that is matching with the identity of Harat. And once we opened at this time, we used to cater for more than, the shop was around 380 square meter, 360. We used to do 1,200 covers a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And this was
I have videos
2018.
Yes.
In Riyadh.
In 2018 in Riyadh. The first branch was in Riyadh. Now we have the second one at the Zone. So when I saw that what I love, my passion, and this...
And was this your restaurant? Or?
100%. No, it was... I'm the CEO of the company, but it's a family business. Okay. And after that, being in the restaurant, I'm still in the opening stage. And one time I saw a man, he told his wife, then I think this guy who decided to put all of this is not normal. Because how come he's looking to all these details? From the flooring, from the floor that it has to be dirty look. You should not make it clean. Not even the toilets. You remember the old public toilets? It's a hara. It should not be clean. It's cleaned, of course, but the wall, we're having like dirty wallpaper. The sink, we made it on purpose to look dirty. All of this, we created this something funny. And trust me, what gave the success for this restaurant is not us. It's not our marketing. It's that the social media, when the people used it during that time. Because they used to take picture on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all of these platforms, and they helped us a lot with this one. And if to have 1,200 covers a day, it was from God first, tawfiq min Allah, and after that the people helped us a lot, and this is where we are now.
Awesome. And then what happened? So Harat was the first one.
Okay.
Then
my number one cuisine for me is the Indian cuisine. My favorite cuisine, my number one cuisine is not the Lebanese cuisine. As a Lebanese, no. It's the Indian cuisine. Because I respect this cuisine a lot.
Indian?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did a lot of success story before in the previous companies with the Indian cuisine. So we named it Ruhi. Ruhi, it's like Ruhi, which is soul. And we were inspired by one of the artists, Matinda, something like that. I forgot the name, but it's very difficult. And then we introduced Ruhi in end of 2018, beginning of 2019. We had the same success story that we did in Harat, but of course not the number of covers. Ruhi is, in a humble way, for me, is the number one in Riyadh as an Indian cuisine.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we're not the number one in the Lebanese cuisine. Yes, maybe. There's a lot of competition. But with the Indian, no one can compete us. I'm sure about this.
I'm going to try that.
We have to. We're invited. And we have 2 branches. One in the Zone, at the Zone, and another one with the social dining and Mamlaka. And Ruhi took, for the past 2 years, the highly recommended Indian cuisine by caterer on 2 consecutive years, and I'm sure he's gonna take it this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
different, and as maybe I'm talking with an emotion for this brand because it's the cuisine.
What's your favorite dish in Indian cuisine?
All of them, man. But yeah, the basics. I'm a guy who's very simple. But my number one dish is the dal makhani.
Black lentils.
Black lentil, yeah. And I prefer some of the idam, maybe buna gosht or rada gosht. Of course, the buttered chicken and the masala. This is by default number one. Yeah. One time, let me tell you a story about Ruhi also. I went to London before doing Ruhi. And I was seeing, because in London there's a high-end Indian cuisine in this market. So I visited most of them.
Dishum,
we want to talk? A lot of friends.
Yeah.
One of the restaurants, I saw that he's providing the grills better than us.
Okay.
And I couldn't accept it between me and myself. And I'm sure with the idam, with the naan, with the biryani, with the subzi maskiwali, with all of this, we're fine. Yeah? But when you see someone who's providing something better than you, it's something challenging. Okay, let's sit. What is the issue? Is it the chicken? Is it the shrimp? Is it the meat? Is it the marination? Is it the spices? Why? We have to be better. Even if we have the success, even if we're making money, this is my style of management. If I don't stop where I am. I always look to be better and better. And with the time, when I believe that with someone who cares a lot about every single detail, I believe this is where the success will be. During that time, I didn't know that. I thought that I'm a regular person who loves to go with every single detail. But I discovered that this was very good for me.
Awesome. And then what after Ruhi?
After Ruhi, we opened Oksar. During COVID, no one was able to go out. So I watched the Vikings series. And I liked the way they eat, the way they lived. And
I haven't watched the series, so you have to paint the picture.
Yeah. It's maybe for the people who watch the Vikings, if they can go to Oksar, they will see it's like, the ship and the vessels. It's from the ceiling. We created the same atmosphere because that time the Vikings used to use the weapons a lot. So we made a box. When you come and when you choose your own steak, choose your own weapon. It can be any type of knife. It depends on your character, which knife can attract you. Yeah, it's something funny.
Nice.
It's something nice. It's something that no one is doing it. Okay. And we also work a lot on the details of the dishes. For example, I remember this concept cost me a lot with the Chinaware because to have something that's coming from the nature, not a regular plate, because you cannot make it in a very simple plate. The concept will not look like this the way you want to present it. So this was our investment, and we made also a success story, and we're doing very well. And we opened 2 years ago at the Esplanade.
How big is Oscar?
How many square meter?
Yeah,
around 440. 2 floors. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a steakhouse.
It's a prime steak hall. Best cuts.
Yeah, I'm going to get some good Wagyu.
Of course, definitely. I believe you have to also visit and give me your opinion.
I need to tell you. I have a commitment to myself for a very, very long time. Never have a bad meal.
Oh,
and I come through on my commitment 3 times a day.
Okay.
I never have a bad meal. So all the restaurants that you're telling me, they're just getting added to my list.
Perfect.
I'm going to run a big bill on you.
Perfect. I'm looking forward. Last one is Maître Choux. Maître Choux, it's a concept. It's a franchise coming from London. They used to be specialized in the choux, which is the mini choux, and the eclair. And they decided to open the first flagship in the Middle East. And we made a beautiful shop. It's around 440. 1 floor, high ceiling, amazing one. The location is at the U-Walk. And we have another one at the Boulevard, in the French destination. Amazing concept. You can go there. You will have a variety of eclair, variety of cakes, variety of chocolate, different types of chocolate. Dragée, the things who are. You remember the caprice and the small things, yeah? Just where you sit and maybe you will kill a box one shot. And at the same time, they worked a lot on the menu. We developed a breakfast and brunch menu, and we're doing very well also with this concept.
I think in London they have a flagship in London, right?
They have 3 shops.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. I think one of them. What is that? What is that?
South Can? South Can?
No,
Kings Road?
Kings Road, I think.
Kings Road. Yeah.
No.
It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
Later, the last maybe 2 weeks ago, we launched a new item. We call it Miracle. It's a miracle. The taste is a miracle. You have to go and see. I will not tell you what are the description, but I believe you should pay a visit there and give me your opinion.
Absolutely. So how many restaurants in total are you running in the advanced food company?
Now we have 2 Harat, we have 2 Ruhi, we have 2 Metr Chou, we have Oksar. Now we're talking 6-7 brands, and we're operating 15 cloud kitchens and Beyond Catering.
Beyond Catering?
Yeah, it's a catering company.
Okay.
We started this company last year. We did good on the first 6 months because we started in April. It's fine. For next year, we have a different direction for it, and I hope we will have a success story also.
So you continue to leverage all your brands and cuisines in this catering?
Yes, this is the advantage, because when you have an expert Indian chef with an expert Lebanese cuisine with an expert patisserie, you will have a beautiful buffet or dîner assis or a la carte menu or whatever, and it's an advantage that maybe not anyone can have it, and we're gonna have the Beyond Catering under the umbrella of all of our restaurants.
Ziad, how do you look at, as a restaurant operator, and I can see your attention to detail, quality, in your speak, especially when you are talking about your concepts, I can almost borderline feel them, that how invested you are, in each of them. Restaurant is one of the toughest businesses, and I think that it's the toughest business, at least in my experience of my own adventure, was not only because the margins are nowadays different, but because it's a honey trap. It looks very fancy. Yeah. It's a trap. It looks very fancy. It looks very easy, but most of the operators, like the difference between good and bad operators that I have seen is their discipline with bottom line, discipline with numbers, discipline with wastages, their
production, a lot of things.
Yeah, their back end inventory control, etc. What's your secret sauce?
What is our secret sauce? Starting from scratch and everything, and if you want to lead, especially when I have sometimes some challenges with the finance, that we need to do the production for everything we produce in our kitchen, and we need to do the wastage for everything we throw in our kitchen. We should have a proper inventory. Maybe I'm going with the technicality now.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, if you have an adjustment to start a clean inventory for the next month, opening stock, closing stock, minus purchases, to reach your food cost. This is what you have to do. And it starts always in the kitchen. Having a central kitchen, now we're considering to have this one, because I don't think we need a central kitchen for one brand, one branch. After having 2, it's time to have a central kitchen. This will help us a lot. This will reduce the number of staff. This will reduce the food cost. This will let the procurement have a privilege to bring a lot of supplies and deliver in one area. By doing all of this, you will be supplying to the kitchen by portion, and you will be able to monitor properly your stock and your inventory.
So how obsessed are you with those numbers, the waste inventory numbers? Or is it just because...
Trust me, I'm lucky to have a successful team, because all my team, from the CFO, the director of operation, marketing, all of them, we have something in common, which is passion. And maybe they are obsessed already, or they became obsessed because of me, I don't know. But we love what we're doing, and we don't call it obsession. We call it passion. And for example, if we realize that there is a problem in one of the fish technique, we'll print it. Why? Then we don't go home, or we don't close the subject until we know what is the real problem. And this is something You have to do it frequently. The suppliers will change always their prices, which means you have to revise always your recipes. If you don't do this, you will have a problem with the bottom line. You will have a problem, and this will lead for losses.
What about delivery? Your restaurant concepts sound, from the sound of it, sounds like very experiential and you care about it.
Yeah.
What are you delivering?
Yes.
Apart from cloud kitchens, are you delivering in your existing?
Yes, of course. All of our brands are available on Jahez, Hunger Station, Chefs, and the rest of the platforms. The percentage, I can share with you, the percentage of delivery from our total sales is around 7-8%.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
good.
You're not dependent on them.
Of course, you cannot, because it's different. And I aim to my cloud kitchens to reach an X amount or an X percentage, because they don't exist outside.
Correct.
But for a restaurant where the people wants to come, they will have the experience, they will have the service, they will enjoy the atmosphere. It's different.
you mean 7-8% from a restaurant?
7-8% of my revenue is for delivery.
From the restaurant?
Yes.
Or from the cloud kitchen as well?
Yes.
Or is it cloud kitchen, from cloud kitchen?
No, I'm not talking about that. From the restaurant itself.
From the restaurant, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you said that you have 15 cloud kitchens, is that what you said?
Yes.
So 15 cloud kitchens operate same brands, or they have other brands?
Okay. No. In each kitchen, this is how the operator should play it. If, let's say, you have an Italian restaurant, who said that you cannot deliver burger for a cloud kitchen? You have fryer, you have grill, you have butchery, you have meat. So if you have, let's say, pasta or whatever, any name for this Italian restaurants, which you're already paying rent, paying utilities, paying salaries, paying all of this, what is the problem of generating extra revenue minus the percentage of the aggregator and the food cost? That's it. How much will be? Let's say 15, 25, 40, 45%, 50%. 50% of the total sales of the cloud kitchens will be profit at a zero capex, zero cost. So instead of doing one, we did 15. And maybe after Ramadan, I would be reaching another 10. Why? Because if, let's say, the market dropped down, there's exams, there's specific events, especially in what's happening now. We're lucky to watch what's happening now in Saudi Arabia. We have to cover ourselves, and we have to work on alternatives. Cloud kitchens is now a support for the existing brand outside. In any outlets, any restaurant.
And that's exactly what I want to ask you next. What's happening in Saudi Arabia? The market is buzzing, but
market is what?
Buzzing. Like it's there's a lot of buzz for growth.
Oh.
All that is coming in future. How are you looking at it from an operator's lens? Are you nervous about so much competition coming in, or are you excited about the opportunity? And
I'm lucky to watch this period of Saudi Arabia. I've watched a lot in the past, and I'm lucky to see now what's happening. No, I'm very excited. This created more challenges, increased the passion on us, that instead of having 10, 20, 25 competitors, now we're having 50, 70, double, triple. But at the end, you should go back to the ABC of the business. Select the right franchise, opening the right franchise, timing for opening, pricing. Not all of them have the same experience, so we're not afraid. But we know what we want. We have the expertise. We're very happy to see people are having the success, and at the same time, we're very sorry to see if people they are facing the failure.
But there's going to be a lot of correction in the market anyway, right? So many restaurants have just appeared in last 3 years alone, right? How do you look at correction happening in the market? Why do you see so many, like what are the number 1 or 2 or 3 reasons you see restaurants that opened in last 3 years are shutting down, or what's the number 1, number 2, 3 reasons according to you here?
For example, each one maybe is looking for an exposure, maybe he decide to open a restaurant, or he thinks like, if I'm gonna put 5 million, I'm gonna make, let's say, 500,000 a month, or 1 million, or maybe I will return my investment in
But what's the truth?
1 year and a half, 2 years.
If I put 5 million, how much will I make?
Investment, you should return on investment in 3 years and a half, but not from the first year. And some people, they don't have, they're not patient enough to wait, or maybe they didn't hire the right people with them, or they did not consult the right people. This is very important. For example, if I have an issue at the court, I need to speak to a lawyer. No one can do this. Why we go to a lawyer to finalize and to represent us and everything, and we don't have a consultant that can help us with his experience and telling us what are the rules and regulations in the country, what are the challenges, what is the best idea.
You see a lot of people going wrong at that basics?
Yes. Because for me, I've seen in one of the outlets, they shut down 12 restaurants, 12 brands within 3 months. What is the reason behind it?
Wow.
And we should analyze. They made a short period plan. They did not wait enough. Maybe they did not work properly on the marketing. They did not hire. We don't want to repeat everything, but at the end, this caused them to lose X amount of money.
Yeah, what's your favorite restaurant in the city, outside of your own creation?
Outside of my favorite restaurant, honestly, I love all my restaurants. To be honest with
But
you.
where do you take your family out? Like, let's say when you are dining out, what's your choice? Like, just one or two.
I love the Chinese restaurant of Ashaya.
PF Chang's?
PF Chang's, yeah. I take them to PF Chang's because they love Chinese restaurant, and we don't have a Chinese restaurant. Yeah.
That's a clever
Trust
answer.
me, they loved a lot what we do. It's not because I'm the father, because they were raised in a way to know the value of the taste they have, especially if they are kids. You will be surprised. Yeah.
Awesome. You talked about open door policy as a CEO. You talked about team as a family, and I resonate with those things a lot. What's your leadership style? And I would ask you to give me some anecdotes, some examples. How do you, do conflict resolution, within the teams? And when you say that it's an open door policy, I see that it's one thing that a CEO keeps the door open, and it's altogether a different thing where people walk in and actually share something. Because people have their own, hiccups at times, even if the door is open, even if you're standing in front of them, at times people don't speak up. What's your style of management? What's happening?
I always go back to my roots. We should not forget where we were before, how those people are looking at you, how you used to look to your manager, to your supervisor, smile, shake hands, to gather with them. And for example, we do an event every month where we gather as much as we can, the biggest number of staff, and we make sure that there is always a rotation by having other people, not a repetitive one. So in order to have the chance to see everyone, we meet them in our office, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We gather, we get them something. Sometimes we do an event outside. We do like entertainment things with them. But what's important for the open door policy is like, if let's say the issue is from the manager or from the direct manager, we should know. He asks, for example, the HR, he will go to HR, we report this to the HR. Then if I see it's important to sit, I will tell them, let's do an investigation, let's do this, let's do that. Because any employee in this company, with my humble, I will not name the positions, but I'm talking from the basics position to the top position, for me, are equal. I am equal with everyone also. And not even if I tell them, and I refuse to the people to tell me Mr. Ziad. I don't like.
But how do you demonstrate that? See, it's one thing for a CEO to say that we are equal.
You'll
My
be
question
surprised.
is that how do you demonstrate that for real? Where a server
I
in
did
your
not
restaurant,
put a lot of efforts on this, but I've heard a lot of things. A lot of GMs, restaurant GMs, they came. But some of them want to move to Canada, wants to go to the US. Told me, how can I help you? Because the exit interview, I would like to meet this guy, especially if he spent 2-3 years with us. I want to meet him for 10 minutes, have a coffee with him, maybe to wish him the best of luck. But I want to ask why. And I want to feel that he's not going and he's upset or he's moving to a competitor. No, because I like to take care of my people very well. So by having this philosophy, it's very important that everyone will look at you. It's like you are humble. Just like you feel like them. And especially when you, the rewards later on. Sometimes the rewards can be financially, can be psychologically.
tell me a little bit about your family.
Family. I'm married and I have three children. I have 2 girls. Lilia, she's 10. Muhammad is 7. And Leticia is 7. And my wife, she's a clinical psychologist.
7, 7 and 10?
Yeah, twins.
Twins.
Yeah. I'm lucky to have twins, 1 boy, 1 girl. And I have my eldest one is 10. They live here in Saudi Arabia with me.
And your wife?
Of course, she lives here also, and she's a clinical psychologist. But unfortunately, she doesn't work now. Her full job now is to focus on the biggest family.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, people in hospitality industry, and especially restaurant space, right? Hours are different, and my
maybe you should make the interview with her. Continue with her. She will complain a lot about this. Of course, we don't have the 8 to 5 time. We don't have this privilege. Even if you're planning to work in this industry and to work for this business, one of my teachers told me during that time, we work when the people enjoy or celebrate.
Correct.
It's different.
Exactly that, right?
Yeah.
When I explain restaurant industry or hospitality to people is that when you socialize, exactly when the industry has to be
Absolutely.
on the job.
Absolutely.
And when you are not socializing, that's exactly when they ideally could have socialized, but with whom?
Yeah. But
how does your how's been the family dynamics in terms of your anti-social life?
يعني during weekends, of course, I give them a lot of my time. يعني. But maybe I don't give them enough time during weekdays. It's hard. Maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes maximum. And sometimes I don't see them for the entire day. So they understand this. They know I'm there for them. We're trying to have them a proper future. And they have to see that also their father is a hard worker, because you have to apply this culture inside the house.
What do you do to keep yourself nurtured? Like, do you read? Do you listen to podcasts? As a CEO, as somebody who's leading the organization, what practices are you deploying to keep yourself enriched?
I work out every day, early morning. I lift weight, and 4 years ago I was overweight, and this led to a lot of health issues. Now I'm fine, alhamdulillah, but I work out every day, and my passion is basketball. I have no idea.
Do you play?
Yeah, but not like before, because I'm afraid from the injuries. Any injury can be a big headache for me. It's not the right time. But sometimes with friends, maybe every month, maybe 1 or 2 times per month, yes, we do this. It's much more like a gathering. Yeah.
But that's just to feel like lighten, like that's your stress buster.
It's important. The mental health is also important for the sports. To work on your mental health. It's important for the brain, the way you think, the energy, negativity, all of this, because we're human beings at the end. We have the positive side, we have the negative side, but we should know where to go, in which direction. I say everything in life is about a decision. This will end everything. if I have a decision to have a proper lifestyle, I can. If I don't want, I don't want. If I want to smoke, I want to smoke. If I want to quit smoking, I can quit. It's a decision. So I decided to have a proper lifestyle. So that's why I consider sport 4 to 5 times a week.
Awesome. And what's your learning system? Like, do you proactively learn, or is it just experientially? Like, do you read?
Very good question. If you go back about the details about Les Roches, during that time, I didn't have time to read a book or to have it. I've tried a lot to do this. So what I'm planning is to oblige myself by having at least 1 hour per day, and maybe to consider having another executive master degree in global hospitality management with Les Roches. This one will push me to read again, to recap again, to create network, to be from the alumni of Les Roches. This is in my plan. It's on my list.
You're going to take this up soon?
Maybe I will join in April, because if I will not join in this April 2024, I have to wait until next April. It's a program for 1 year.
And is it like a visiting program?
Yes. You have a resident program for 2 weeks. Every 6 months you have to spend 1 week to do the exams and everything. And the rest is online. You have to study with the teacher. Everything now is advanced online. But when it comes to the test, exam, and the presentations and all of this, it has to be one in Dubai and another one in Crans-Montana in Switzerland.
But which is the main one?
Yeah, this is where the campus is.
Yeah, and I think Dubai is the new campus.
Yes. But it's because it's very near, maybe they consider to start first with Dubai and then we'll move to another one. So that's why I was thinking, because you can't stop developing and doing this research. Maybe this one, I mean, it's a bit weird that it's been maybe 5-6 years for me that I didn't open a book. Or if I open a book, maybe I've never continued this book. Maybe at the plane, long flight, yes, I can read. But is it organized on a daily basis or on every 2-3 days? Unfortunately, no, because of the timing.
Yeah, this was a beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It was a pleasure.
I can totally see how beautiful the journey has been, and
Thank you.
I'm really inspired by the passion for learning. I think all the best for your program
Thank you so
at
much.
Les Roches. And also I'm going to visit all your restaurants eventually.
It's
this
a
is
pleasure.
this is only
It's
my
an
third
honor.
time in Riyadh. I'm here
It's
for
an
a very
honor.
short time. But as I come here more often, I'm going to make a note of visiting all the restaurants.
I'm sure it was a successful episode, and I hope that I shared with all the audience the experience that I have, and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.